What's up guys, SteelFrodo here. I'm back again. We're doing another vlog because, well, this is vlog number 2 of my Mac project because, yeah, last one was not, it was kind of anticlimactic because I expected there to be a lot more work involved with this, and there wasn't. But after having used it for a little while, I did realize there are some things that need to be fixed. We're going to be upgrading the RAM from 4 gigs to 8 gigs, and we are replacing the hard drive because I was using it, and those numbers I saw were kind of like, those aren't the greatest numbers for the read and write speeds, and then I realized that there are a few other things going on with this hard drive that don't exactly make it the healthiest hard drive in the world, and it should probably be replaced before it fails, so I backed it up to Time Machine. We're going to be cracking this thing open and putting a new hard drive in it this evening, so join me, won't you? Also, I should say, don't try this at home unless you know what you're doing, but I'm not going to say that because I know what I'm doing only because I was doing the stuff that people told me not to do. So, don't go tearing apart mom and dad's computer unless you know you can put it back together. I made that mistake. So one of the nice things about these older Macs is that they are actually serviceable. So as you can see here, they even put instructions on how to replace the RAM and everything right there on the bottom of the Mac. So I bought a kit here that should be the correct kind. Now these were rated for a different series, but the numbers, like the requirements, matched up just fine. So we're going to go ahead and... Oh, that came off about as poorly as I expected it to. We're going to go ahead and put this in here and upgrade the RAM. If I can actually get it out of its box, that'd be nice. I'm sitting at a workbench and I don't have a knife. And that's not very sharp, but I think it did it. Close enough. Oh, 2 4 gig sticks. This was like 50 bucks. So we're gonna pop the bottom open here and put this RAM in here. This one's actually really interesting the way the RAM comes out because it's they use like these little pull. Well, I'll just show you. They use these little pull tabs, which are kind of interesting. If I can actually get the RAM piece off. This is also the only screw visible on this entire Mac. It's the upgrade port right at the bottom. There we go. And then there's these 2 little tabs here. You pull these out, pull them long ways, boom, and boom. And the old RAM sticks come right out. These are 2 gigabyte units, so they had 4 gigabytes beforehand. I'm going to be careful not to damage these because if I need to put them back in, if the new RAM doesn't work and I need to put them back in, I want to keep them in good shape. This is the new one, and so we'll do one at a time, making sure we put them in the correct way. Long ways like so. Which is so weird because the the Mac that I had before this, the 2006 one that I did, the RAM actually stacked on top of itself, so you had 2 RAM sticks, one on top of the other. These are side by side, so it's a little bit of a different configuration. Alright, so before we go and do any work on the hard drive, I'm going to put this cap back on the bottom, screw it back in. I have to do that. I'm pretty sure I have to do this so the system won't boot because it'll know that the RAM tray is open. So I'm going to put the whole thing back together, i.e. 1 panel and 1 screw. Flip it over, boot it up, make sure it identifies all 4 or all 8 gigs of RAM, and then we'll take it apart. So let's do that. Alright, let's get started, see if it identifies all 8 gigabytes or if I just wasted my time. Well, okay, it's booting. I guess it was muted, I don't know. It's on. And this is also going to be fixed because even with a hard drive, this thing should be able to boot in like, usually in somewhere in the neighborhood of about 5, 10, usually somewhere between 5 and 10 seconds, and this takes significantly longer. So cut to when it's booted and we'll get back. You gonna pair or what? So it booted, but now the mouse won't work, so I'm gonna have to figure that out. Yay! Look at the pretty mouse. Woo. Yeah, so since the Bluetooth mouse is not connecting for God knows what reason, I have this, which is the original Apple mouse. Not even, this was the Mighty Mouse, then they had the Magic Mouse, the Magic Mouse 2, Magic Trackpad. This was literally just called the Apple Mouse, and I love it because it's so simple, but I also hate it because it's so simple. This is back when Apple made stuff to be artsy, and they made it so artsy that it doesn't have right-click. How cool is that? So let's get this dumb mouse to pair up. Come on, you piece of garbage. Well, anyway, let's check and see what we've got for RAM here. Yay! It identifies all 8 gigabytes of RAM. Yeah, so I know it was probably hard to see from back there, but check it out. So I'm still trying to figure out what's going on with the Bluetooth mouse. It's not pairing, but 4 gigs of RAM. It actually identifies both, so we now have a total of 8 gigabytes installed, which is the maximum this system will ever be able to support. I'm going to have to blur out the serial number, but we have a 2.66 gigahertz dual core, 8 gigabytes of RAM, and Macintosh HD, which is, it's dying. I mean, you saw how long even just that took. It should be almost immediate, and it's not, so we're gonna have to rectify that. So next up, power it down, rip the power cord out, and open it up. Let's do it. So the problem I ran into last time when I was doing this work was I was having an issue getting into this because I realized that I needed suction cups, and I didn't have the tools necessary because it was saying this is basically held on by a set of magnets, and I didn't have suction cups. But after having considered what I actually do own, I realized I have an abundance of mounts and accessories for GoPros, 2 of which are GoPro suction mounts. So, with that being the case, this is so stupid. Don't ever try this at home, Jesus. Don't ever try this at home. Turn away, that's most convenient for me. Oh god. This thing weighs like probably a good 30 pounds. Whoa, goodness. Lord help me. Okay, that's the glass panel. Done and done. Oh, sweet merciful baby Jesus. 12, whatever. Alright, I gotta find a place to put this without breaking it. Okay. Oh boy, that was not what I expected. So I'm pretty sure it goes without saying that when you do this, you're gonna really need to clean the bottom side, like the panel underneath when you're done, because there's gonna be dust all over it. But now, I'm gonna take the rest of it apart, which I just realized includes taking that bottom panel off, which I forgot to do. I'm gonna do that. So, fast forward time. Side note, always make sure to have a magnet on hand. From what I remember reading, there's going to be those 4 at the bottom, which are longer than the other 2, 4, 6, 8, the other 8. I can't math, it's very late in the evening, and I probably shouldn't even be taking these apart, but I am anyway because I want to. So always have a magnet. Try to separate the screws out by using the magnet, so you remember like magnet 1 has you know, the top screws, magnet 2 has the bottom screws, that kind of stuff. So make sure to do that. And also, something I forgot to do, press the power button a few times when you're working on a computer, like the Mac especially, because what that does is that makes sure that there's no charge in the power supply, or at least no significant charge, so you're not going to fry yourself or the machine when you take it apart. I'm also realizing that this is not really a vlog anymore. This is more of like a guide, which I wasn't intending for it to be, but it became. So that's something, I guess. Alright. Well, now that that's off... Holy shit. Oh man, this is a monster. This thing's a lot bigger than I expected it to be. So... yeah. Panels out. Next up, the display. So this is the component I've been stressing over the most. Because it's the most delicate and the most important for an iMac. And get my stool here. And God, if I mess this up, I am just straight boned. Because this is it. This is the only piece that I really don't want to break. Because, well, oh boy, if I break this display, it's not going to be a good day for anybody. Whether it be you, the viewer, me, the owner of this fine machine, or anybody. And there's the pump kicking in for, I guess, our AC unit. So I'm going to stop talking now and just fast forward. So actually, I am going to stop and say some other stuff. I've had people talk to me about like stuff that I do with computers. I've had people ask me how I kind of got started doing this and all that fun stuff. And the story's the same with everything that I've done. Pretty much the same thing with everything I've done. I've hopped in with zero experience head first like an idiot and sunk or swim. Sank or swam. Yeah. In a lot of cases with stuff like this, there is no right or wrong way to do it per se. I mean, obviously there's a right and wrong way to take a computer apart. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that there's no right or wrong way to learn how. In a lot of cases, my case especially, the first computer I ever took apart was my parents', and it was only taking the side panel off. And somehow, by taking the side panel off and cleaning the dust off, I killed the hard drive. And I will never forget that, ever, because that set in my brain. And I could have just quit there. Could have never done anything else with computers, never done anything ever with computers, never touched them again. And I didn't. I kept going. I kept going. Taking computers apart more and more, wanted to learn more, did learn more. And I think that's kind of where I just learned that everything can be fixed with computers. It's just a matter of how expensive the component is that you broke. Because my parents gave me, after the whole debacle with their computer that they gave me, they gave me the first computer that they owned. It was a 90s compact something or other, probably Presario or some piece of garbage. And they were like, oh look, you can play Roller Coaster Tycoon or whatever. And yeah, no, I didn't play Roller Coaster Tycoon. It took all about 20 minutes maybe before it was in pieces all over our playroom floor. And I ended up being able to not only take it apart, but put the whole thing back together in working order. So that was something. What I'm doing here is I'm taking the video component cable out, and I don't know if there's anything else connected. I didn't read that far in the guide. I think there's a power input somewhere, like an inverter. Yep, there's an inverter connected directly to the power supply. That's going to be a pain in the ass to get out later. Oh, God, you are a nightmare. And you are the... Oh, there is dust everywhere. Jesus. I think that's the whole display out. Yes, it is. That's the display. How about that? That's the whole display. And I'm going to go put it somewhere where it's not going to break. Because, oh my God, if it breaks, I'm going to be super pissed off with myself. And, oh my God, I can't even think about it if I break this panel. Oh, Jesus. 4. Oh, God. People, clean your computers. Come on. And also when you're using these, don't try to get this. Don't try to get that stuff in the computer because it can actually cause damage, even though I've done it like 2 or 3 times now. As long as it dries and goes away before it becomes an issue, then it's usually not a problem. But just try to avoid it at all costs unless you're me and stupid. I consider myself an expert with self-destructive tendencies. That's something. Alright. Oh, God, that's so cold. I don't know if it'll show it. There's like condensation on the bottom. Can you hear it? Oh. Oh, you can taste it in the air now. Yeah, this hard drive's failing, so we gotta remove it. And I don't remember how the instructions said to, so I'm just gonna pull on stuff until something happens. I think this is the right way to do it. Sure, that works. Say to power. Oh, duh. Okay, first this, which is gonna be God, this is gonna be a nightmare. No, foam. Foam, garbage. Foam, garbage. There's a heat temperature sensor on here that has to stay connected. Because if you, God forbid, if you disconnect a freaking temperature sensor from this hard drive, it will just ramp the fan speed up to like 180,000% and not stop. So, try to find the thinnest screwdriver you have and pry that bitch off there, like that. It's got this thing, which I'm going to set somewhere non-dusty. I will stick you to the base plate. Alright, now we do this. Alright, let's see who made this. Hitachi! If I have any Chinese fans, let me know. If that's, excuse me, even Chinese. I don't know if it's Chinese or not. It's like almost 10 at night and I'm tearing this machine apart. Anyway, little Apple logo, 640 gigger. It's a piece of garbage. It's not a great machine, or not a great hard drive. April 2009 was the manufacturing date. How about that? Okay, so now that that's done and dusted, not dusted, it's still very dusty. We got these studs here. These studs on it need to be taken off and put on the new drive. So in order to replace the nasty, dusty hard drive, I have got a nice and new 7200 RPM, 1 terabyte, 64 meg cache desktop internal hard drive from Western Digital. This is their Western Digital Blue. It's got cloning software, which I'm not going to use, and it's a hard drive. It's a terabyte. It's going to be more than enough for when I use this thing for capturing. And there's a razor. Perfect. Not perfect. Perfect? God, I am not conscious enough to do this. I'll be amazed if this machine actually boots up when I'm done, considering how tired I am. To give you guys some context, I just finished a 9-hour stretch, or 9-hour shift, and it was my 9th day straight working, with every shift being somewhere in the neighborhood of 6.5 or more hours. So I am just barely conscious, and I should not be working on this hard drive. I should not even be this deep in any computer, but I am, because I can be. Take the studs off. So this was facing that way, so that means set it like that so I don't forget. Why am I doing this? I could be going to sleep right now. I could be laying in my bed with my iPad watching the dub of Interviews with Monster Girls, or Dagashikashi, or sleeping, which I very rarely do anyway. But I'm doing this instead. Why? I do it for the views, even though this gets not nearly as many views. And 90% of the comments are going to be requests on what show I'm going to watch next. Oh well, it's fun, and I love doing this. It's a hobby of mine that I've been doing forever. So, old drive, oh, it's got as unnecessary as they seem, because they kind of are unnecessary. If you can, keep these in place, because they kind of help. If you can't keep it in place, don't worry about it. I don't think this one's going to be able to stay in place because the foam, or the adhesive came off and stayed on the hard drive, so I don't think that's going to stay in its place anymore. Okay, so just for some context, this thing weighs almost nothing. Like, this is ridiculously light. This probably weighs double what this weighs. This is a heavy, heavy thing. It's about the same thickness, but the actual platters on this, like, those are all platters stacked inside that metal basin there. This, on the other hand, there's not a whole lot there. So that's crazy how far technology has advanced. It's kind of mind-boggling. Also, with Macs, these do have some blue Loctite on these screws, because these studs are not supposed to come out unless you are working to get them out. Loctite. Know it. Use it. Love it. Where the hell is this supposed to go now? You better hold that thing in place, because I am not taking this thing apart again. God, I am not taking this thing apart again. What a pain in the ass. Ass. Good to know now. Does this even fit back down the way it's supposed to? What the hell? How was this attached? I got it. Alright, well, I can't delete the inevitable anymore. I gotta go put the display back on, because now I've got the new hard drive in, mounted. Let's do it. I know I said this earlier, but I feel like it goes without saying, you need to dust this screen off before you go and put the glass back on it, or drop the screws on the ground. So definitely dust this thing off before you go and do anything remotely resembling putting the glass panel back on. Now for the nice, big, pretty aluminum piece. Ugh. After the dusting. Oh yeah, I almost forgot about the wire. Oh, that would be bad if I hooked it up without the microphone wire, wouldn't it? Yes? I don't know. How important is a microphone to you? Why would they put tape around this? It's literally only here now to impede my progress. It was there, I guess, originally to hold the cord in place, but now it's just a pain. And unnecessary. Screws! More screws! Lots and lots of screws to put in. Kind of ashamed of myself. I actually had to cheat and look up the guide, which I was trying to go through this entire thing without looking at a guide and just figuring out by eye, but I couldn't, because there were a different set of screws than what I expected, which threw me off. So apparently there are these longer screws that mount in on the side, and then the short ones mount in at the top, and then there's two short ones that go at the bottom, and then two long ones that go at the bottom. So my magnet method, which has never failed me, has failed me, and I had to cheat and look at an iFixit guide to figure out where every single screw went. I'm ashamed of myself. I should have been able to do this without looking at a guide, but I did anyway, because I didn't want to put this back together the wrong way, because I only get one shot at this. If I break it, then I'm out. Probably the best, actually, I would say the best iMac I personally have ever owned. Now, the family actually has a newer 2016 iMac, but that is not my iMac. This is my iMac. So let's put it all back together. Home stretch. Finally, we are about ready to plug this in, fire this up, and see what's going on. Make sure I put it all back together correctly. Even though I probably shouldn't be doing this in my sleep-deprived state, I'm going to do it anyway. I'm not seeing anything noticeable dust-wise under the display, which is good because that means I did my job right. I didn't put a bunch of smears under the display or anything fun like that. Now for the moment of truth. Alrighty, moment of truth time. See if I did it right. Hopefully everything's back the way it was. I had no screws left over, which is good because there's usually always something left over, and there was nothing left over, which means everything went back together the way it was supposed to, at least in theory. Oh, I guess I should get a wired keyboard so I can actually go into the recovery mode, so I'm going to go do that now. Alright, moment of truth. Command R held down, power button pressed. Any noise? Yes! Alright, I'm going to hold down the recovery mode. Once I get this to boot into the recovery mode, I'm going to cut ahead to tomorrow because the stuff after this is just all the boring little nitty-gritty stuff like getting the OS installed, which you guys don't need to see that. That's easy. That's not necessary. So, yeah. Let's go to tomorrow after I get this thing working in tip-top shape with new RAM and a better hard drive. So I'll see you guys in a couple minutes. I'll see you guys tomorrow, but you guys will see me in a couple minutes or a couple seconds. So this is the boring part I was talking about. I'm just gonna let it do its thing. Though in order to speed it up, normally this would be over Wi-Fi, which would probably be pretty slow since it's over wireless N. What I'm doing is I'm actually transferring it through the cable around the back, if I can show that. I got an Ethernet, and I bumped that. I got an Ethernet cable around the back, and I got it running down and out to my router. It's like almost 11 o'clock in the evening, and yeah, to recover the entire thing, I'm actually kind of impressed because it's only going to take 9 minutes because it's transferring at 12 megabytes per second, and there were only 19 gigs. But it's functioning. I've got 8 gigs, and I got a terabyte. So I guess tomorrow, or in a couple seconds, I'll show you guys what I use this for, or what I plan to use this for, so I'll see you guys then. So now, you get to see what I use this for. Oh. That is heavy. And yes, I have it sitting next to a fish tank. Tell me how that's bad for a computer and all that, I already know, and I don't think this fish is going to be sitting here forever. This is actually the fish my sister takes with her when she goes back to college. But this is what I'm going to be using the computer for. It is my dedicated capture computer for my console collection, which includes a Sega Master System, a Halo Edition Xbox Original, Nintendo Entertainment System, Super Nintendo, N64, GameCube, not all Nintendo though. I got a Sega Genesis, a Sega Dreamcast, PS1, PS2, and a Game Boy that was sitting on the floor for some reason, but I can't capture from that, so yeah, I'll show you what I use it for. So yeah, so the idea behind this is that I'm going to be able to capture pretty much whatever I want off of my classic console setup, which is pretty cool because it's been a long time. I spent a long time building this, and so now I can actually play stuff and capture it and do Let's Plays and stuff if I ever decide to do that. The intention is to do something along those lines with my sister at some point, though she doesn't want to have her face shown, so I may end up doing some sort of Game Grumps style thing. So we'll see what happens, but I do enjoy this because it actually, you know, the consoles are pretty basic to capture from, so it's not like I'm actually straining the computer to do anything because it is an older machine. I'm not going to play that. I'm not going to play it down like this is a, you know, brand new machine that's capable of all these incredible feats. It's an old computer, but this is, I think, just the right combination of new task with old machinery that isn't going to overtax it. But yeah, now I have a big enough hard drive to capture for quite a while, because a lot of these aren't really going to be an issue in terms of capturing. I think they're like maybe a couple 100 megabytes at most. So yeah, should be pretty fun. And now I'm going to sit here and play Castlevania for a while. One of the other nice things with this setup is that because of the way I have it set up, I can actually run it through to a switcher in the back. It's an 8-port switch, so I don't quite have, let me get a better angle here, I don't quite have enough for all the consoles, but I do have enough for at least the main ones in the rack. So I've got enough for the main consoles all around this area, but I did run out when it comes to these two. So I have to switch those out manually, which kind of sucks, but it is what it is. That's what happens when you get too many. And then I want to get this working, but there is nothing to capture an old Atari. Problem is that it goes through coax, and I don't have a coax to any sort of RCA conversion system or anything like that, which kind of sucks. And to wrap up the video, I'm actually going to do something that is kind of a payoff for anybody who watched the vlog from 2 weeks ago, the one where I went to the junkyard and got a new mirror for my car. I took this downstairs and I never did anything with it. I just set it down and got busy and other stuff happened, but I found this in the trunk of a car. Did find something. I just realized when I was looking over here. Geist for the GameCube. I just dropped it. I'm going to take that home and clean it up and see if it works. And it was covered in dirt, and it's still very, very, very scratched up. But I'm going to see if it works, and that's going to be how we end this video. I'm going to see how it works and play it for a bit. So we'll see what, well, we'll see if it works. Maybe it will, maybe it won't. Let's find out. Oh, helps if I do the right input. Through 4. Ooh, that didn't sound good. But this is all live right here, right now, so we'll see if it works. Press any button to continue. Well, that's not the boot up menu, that's actually the game. That's actually the game. Wow, that loaded up immediately. Color me impressed. That is, I don't know what Geist is, I've never played this, but this was a game that I found in the trunk of a car at a junkyard, covered in dirt, sitting there just I even asked the guy, because when you get stuff from a junkyard, you gotta pay for it. Obviously, you can't just steal stuff from the junkyard. And I held it up to the guy, and I'm like, well, you know, I put the mirror on there, on the counter, and I then took the disc out of my pocket. And he's like, what's that? It's a video game I found in the trunk. And he goes, we're a parts dealer, not a fucking GameStop. Okay. Take it, we don't want it. I'm like, okay. So I don't know what this is. Let's play it for a bit and see what's up. This does not seem like a very good game. Especially considering I can't skip anything. I can't skip anything. Oh boy. Do I actually get to play the game yet? Alright, let's play something and see what's up. I don't even know, it's been so long, I don't even know what the controls would be. Oof. Apparently I don't have the controls, I'm just kind of on a tripod. I'm on rails? Can I move? God, it's all cutscenes in this game. Left. Okay, maps. Cool. Oh my gosh. So just for reference, I've done 2 things so far. I have pulled up the map, and I've pulled up the objective. Everything else has been automated. And now there's an explosion fight. Didn't mean for this to turn to a Let's Play, but I just wanted to see it to end out the video. But if I don't start shooting things, then I'm going to pretty much quit. Can I move? I get why this was in the junkyard now. Let me move. Whatever, PDA, I don't give two sh... Am I just gonna keep zooming in? Oh my gosh. You have a gun now. Now it's the time to use it. Why? Why? Oh, cool. Try not to shoot your foot off. Can I shoot my own foot? I don't have feet. Alright, you know what? Oh, hey, gun. Oh, and this targeting is so freaking slow. You know what? Whatever. Thank you guys very much for watching. I'm done with this game. I should have probably left it... Probably should have left it in the junkyard where I found it. So that's the dehumidifier kicking on, letting me know that it's time to stop. So thanks again, and I will see you guys in the next vlog video. Let me know if you guys like these, and I will see you all in the next video. Have a good one.